Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about how to become more creative. In fact, to become more creative, smarter, better, easier, just follow these 5 steps. Let's hop in right now.
Welcome. This is Ike, Caroline's channel butler. Let's embark on a journey of discovery. We're about to embark on an exciting journey to supercharge our creativity in 5 simple steps. Creativity is for everyone. Yes, no matter where you come from or what you do, you too can be creative. The first thing to remember is that creativity isn't just for artists or inventors. Everyone has the potential to be creative. Great ideas often follow a similar process. It's like a secret recipe that leads to the birth of creative solutions. Understanding this is important because creative thinking is one of the most useful skills you can possess. Nearly every problem you face in work and in life can benefit from innovative solutions, lateral thinking, and creative ideas. That's not to say being creative is easy. Uncovering your creative genius requires courage and tons of practice. However, this 5-step approach should help demystify the creative process and illuminate the path to more innovative thinking. To explain how this process works, let me tell you a short story. In the 1870s, newspapers and printers faced a very specific and very costly problem. Photography was a new and exciting medium at the time. Readers wanted to see more pictures, but nobody could figure out how to print images quickly and cheaply. For example, if a newspaper wanted to print an image in the 1870s, they had to commission an engraver to etch a copy of the photograph onto a steel plate by hand. These plates were used to press the image onto the page, but they often broke after just a few uses. This process of photo engraving, you can imagine, was remarkably time-consuming and expensive. The man who invented a solution to this problem was named Frederic Eugene Ives. He went on to become a trailblazer in the field of photography and held over 70 patents by the end of his career. His story of creativity and innovation, which I will share now, is a useful case study for understanding the 5 key steps of the creative process. The printing process developed by Frederic Eugene Ives used a method called halftone printing to break a photograph down into a series of tiny dots. The image looks like a collection of dots up close, but when viewed from a normal distance, the dots blend together to create a picture with varying shades of gray. Ives got his start as a printer's apprentice in Ithaca, New York. He was curious, always ready to learn and grow. After 2 years of learning the ins and outs of the printing process, he began managing the photographic laboratory at nearby Cornell University. He spent the rest of the decade experimenting with new photography techniques and learning about cameras, printers, and optics. In 1881, Ives had a flash of insight regarding a better printing technique. While operating my photostereotype process in Ithaca, I studied the problem of halftone process, Ives said. I went to bed one night in a state of brain fog over the problem, and the instant I woke in the morning saw before me, apparently projected on the ceiling, the completely worked-out process and equipment in operation. Ives quickly translated his vision into reality and patented his printing approach in 1881. He spent the remainder of the decade improving upon it. By 1885, he had developed a simplified process that delivered even better results. The Ives process, as it came to be known, reduced the cost of printing images by 15x and remained the standard printing technique for the next 80 years. Alright, now let's discuss what lessons we can learn from Ives about the creative process. In 1940, an advertising executive named James Webb Young published a short guide titled, A Technique for Producing Ideas. In this guide, he made a simple but profound statement about generating creative ideas. According to Young, innovative ideas happen when you develop new combinations of old elements. In other words, creative thinking is not about generating something new from a blank slate, but rather about taking what is already present and combining those bits and pieces in a way that has not been done previously. Most important, the ability to generate new combinations hinges upon your ability to see the relationships between concepts. If you can form a new link between 2 old ideas, you have done something creative. This process of creative connection always occurred in 5 steps. Let's break them down. Gather new material. At first, you learn. During this stage you focus on 1. Learning specific material directly related to your task, and 2. Learning general material by becoming fascinated with a wide range of concepts. Thoroughly work over the materials in your mind. During this stage, you examine what you have learned by looking at the facts from different angles and experimenting with fitting various ideas together. Step away from the problem. Next, you put the problem completely out of your mind and go do something else that excites you and energizes you. Let your idea return to you. At some point, but only after you have stopped thinking about it, your idea will come back to you with a flash of insight and renewed energy. Shape and develop your idea based on feedback. For any idea to succeed, you must release it out into the world, submit it to criticism, and adapt it as needed. The creative process used by Frederic Eugene Ives offers a perfect example of these 5 steps in action. First, Ives gathered new material. He spent 2 years working as a printer's apprentice and then 4 years running the photographic laboratory at Cornell University. These experiences gave him a lot of material to draw upon and make associations between photography and printing. Second, Ives began to mentally work over everything he learned. By 1878, Ives was spending nearly all of his time experimenting with new techniques. He was constantly tinkering and experimenting with different ways of putting ideas together. Third, Ives stepped away from the problem. In this case, he went to sleep for a few hours before his flash of insight. Do something that interests you and takes your mind off of the problem. While Fred was resting, his idea came to him. At 4th, his idea returned to him. Ives awoke with the solution laid out before him. On a personal note, I often find creative ideas hit me just as I am lying down for sleep. Once I give my brain permission to stop working for the day, the solution appears easily. Finally, Ives continued to revise his idea for years. In fact, he improved so many aspects of the process he filed a second patent. This is a critical point and is often overlooked. It can be easy to fall in love with the initial version of your idea, but great ideas always evolve. The creative process is the act of making new connections between old ideas. Thus, we can say creative thinking is the task of recognizing relationships between concepts. One way to approach creative challenges is by following the 5-step process of 1. Gathering material. 2. Intensely working over the material in your mind. 3. Take a break. Step away from the problem. 4. Allowing the idea to come back to you naturally. Let your subconscious mind do the work. And 5. Testing your idea in the real world and adjusting it based on feedback. Being creative isn't about being the first or only person to think of an idea. More often, creativity is about connecting ideas. Don't be afraid to make changes based on the feedback you receive. Try these 5 steps and see the difference. You can unleash your creative potential with amazing power. So, are you ready to become a creativity superhero? With these 5 steps, you're well on your way. Creative thinking is not about generating something new from a blank slate. It is about taking what is already present and combining those bits and pieces in a way that has not been done previously. The creative process in short. Let's get creative. And as Vincent van Gogh said, great things are done by a series of small things brought together. Thanks for watching. Do follow me for more interesting insights on life and more like this.